class, it's finally time. We are going to be talking about the best, and I mean the best, rogue decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! I really gotta fix this because it never goes up to the height I needed. Today, Chat and I will be talking about some really powerful rogue decks, strategies that you can be using to beat the meta, and why they are so strong. Let's go ahead and jump on in. Hey, nobody's noticed. Do you guys know that my hair is like in two ponytails? Do you guys see it? Like, no one has noticed. We noticed but ignored. Brother. Let me get to the intro. What's going on with ya, big dogs? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that's your day phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. And in case you guys didn't know, I'm pretty sure you know what time it is. TJ, stop roasting me. It just so happens to be Update Monday. So that means it's time for us to talk about something that's not necessarily related to Yu-Gi-Oh, but I promise you will 100% better your life. Today for Update Monday, I want to talk about something that's pretty important, and I think everyone needs it. Hope. Sometimes situations can seem absolute perilous, and I've been through quite the amount, seeing that I am old as dirt. But one of the important things about the tough situations is understand, big dog, your family, your people, they got your back. And not every single part of life is meant to be high on the roller coaster. You're gonna have your downs, and when you're down, understand that you'll get back up again. I know one of the hard times in my life is that the Dodgers were facing an elimination game in Game 6. Holy! I still had hope, mainly because TJ's Yankees were kicked out of the World Series. But in all seriousness, in times of peril, lean on a family member, lean on a friend, and remember, it may not seem like a good situation now, but in the future, you'll look back at it from a better perspective. I think that the same parallel can be drawn from rogue Yu-Gi-Oh decks. They aren't always the strongest in the game. In fact, they're never the strongest in the game, but they allow you to be able to do things to take on some of the top decks. Today, Chat and I will be talking about what we think are some really powerful rogue decks, and I'll even be showing you deck lists of accomplished rogue Yu-Gi-Oh decks. But of course, if you want to see my own personal ones, I'm going to be putting them on Patreon as a special thank you for helping me pay my editors. Let's go ahead and jump on in and talk about our first strong rogue Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Chat, do you guys have any suggestions? I think Pearly is one of the best rogue decks. First of all, it's cheap. Second of all, payoff the deck gives you back is nice. You don't have to do gymnastics for barely winning. Also, it's not a combo deck, so it's easy to learn. Bruce, what Pearly deck are you playing? Unfortunately, I don't think a Pearly deck has topped recently, so I can't give you guys a deck list, but I do think it's a strong Yu-Gi-Oh deck, possibly more suited for like a budget style video, and we might cover that a little bit too. But what I do think is something, a really good rogue Yu-Gi-Oh deck that actually topped is Sky Striker. In this particular Yu-Gi-Oh format, being able to break boards is one of the most important things. Decks like Mitsurugi Yummy, Dracotel, or K9 can make your hand traps look bad. Oftentimes, they punish you and hand loop you for hand trapping them. But Sky Strikers don't necessarily play any hand traps. It's all board breakers, baby. And seeing that these board breaker spell cards do allow you to fuel your Sky Striker cards, you're actually getting two things for the price of one. But come on, guys, which one of you guys actually likes Ray? You can tell me I'm your friend. I love Ray. Hey, 50 years in prison with Diddy and R. Kelly, and then 50 more years in a cemetery right next to Elvis. Y'all thought I didn't have Judge Cali loaded, huh? Judge Joe Brown is loaded. Here is Nicholas Ortiz's Sky Striker deck that just so happened to top 16 at YCS Pittsburgh. It is a really strong going second deck, and even if you're going against a strategy like Luna Lights, you can actually search a kaiju, which that can come in handy against a lot of strategies. I love that there's super polymerization, there's forbidden droplet, there's the triple tactics thrust. My man is cooking. I genuinely think that this could be a top contender, and the best thing about it is that it is a Yu-Gi-Oh strategy that's only going to get better because it's confirmed to have more support. Sky Striker is like Branded, which is like Blue Eyes, which is like Dark Magician, and to an extent Red Eyes. It's going to get more support. Based on what you said about Sky Striker, I would think White Forest is a good rogue deck, if it even counts as rogue. White Forest does count as rogue. It's a deck that can go second and does it well. But as you know, with Sky Striker, there are like cards that are just built-in Sky Striker cards that make the deck naturally go second. Whereas White Forest, if you start interrupting with their normal summon, they can be cooked in a lot of situations. But speaking of going second, I think another really powerful deck is Gem Knight. Gem Knight is probably the best going second deck outside of Sky Strikers because it just absolutely wins games. When you're looking for a rogue Yu-Gi-Oh strategy in the game right now, you don't want something that could be hand trap heavy, right? You want something that has natural board breakers inside of the deck. Kind of like how Sky Striker has a Widow Anchor, and also kind of like how Gym Knights have like all of their cards. Gym Knight Hollow Core being a card that can negate your opponent's card effects just by existing in the graveyard is insane. And then the Gym Knight Fusion monsters are also crazy strong too. Gym Knight Shadolls is the move, you know what? Ain't even be mad. Fusion, Tenpai, or Morner Turbo depends on the toss. To be fair, Artifact Molnar is banned, but what Gym Knight players are doing instead is that they're just summoning Artifact Christia. So if this deck does go first, you have to deal with Arclore Christia lock, and when it does go second, it's one of the best going second decks. 6-7? 6-7! I think we might have to deal with 6-7 decks in this rogue video. I'm proud of that one. This is Anthony Zoo's going second Gym Knight deck, and boy, I look, man, maybe the Lightning Storms and the Dusters, amen. I'm not even gonna pretend I'm the best Gym Knight player ever. I picked up this deck for maybe 3 days and learned the ins and outs of it, but this deck is really solid and has versatility. There is a Gym Knight Fiendsmith version that does exist and can be playable if you want to mix it up a little bit. Because if you ask me, Fiendsmith is incredibly underrated. Do you guys remember when Fiendsmith was like the engine? Like if you did not play Fiendsmith, your deck was trash? Why is it that Fiendsmith beats almost every pure deck? So the thing about Fiendsmith is that you have a secondary engine that gives you 2 level 6 monsters to summon DDD Wave King Caesar, which by the way is really good against Mitsurugi and decks like Malice and Dracotel. Or you have a strategy that gives you Fiendsmith Desiree, which actually can be good against cards like Dark Ruler No More, because if you can activate a spell or trap card as Chainlink 2, you can then activate Desiree to negate the Dark Ruler. Fiendsmith got overshadowed by Mitsurugi because of Feral Imp, but with that ban, people will probably transfer back over to Fiendsmith. No, I think there's a couple of reasons why Fiendsmith kind of fell off. The first is losing Moon of the Closed Heaven. That card allowed any deck to bridge into Fiendsmith. Now you're gonna have to play a deck that can almost naturally bridge into Fiendsmith, if you guys know what I mean. I have 2 Yu-Gi-Oh strategies because I just think that Fiendsmith is a really good deck overall. We have Clyde Montaire's Fiendsmith Live Twin deck. I like that he's playing a mix of board breakers and hand traps. There's like Droplet in here. This card's actually crazy because it can be used as an interruption when they're trying to like special summon the Mitsurugi monsters in their graveyard, but also can allow you to extend. And then it does play the necessary hand traps to be a good Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Keep in mind that this deck is a 1-card combo strategy that can make DDD Wave High King Caesar. I'm not like a huge fan of this deck. I don't think it's going to be like the top contender, but it shows you that Fiendsmith can be really good. The other deck is Unchained Fiendsmith. Now this deck is just straight up insane, my man. I will never give up on Unchained Fiendsmith, my boy. How can you hate a Yu-Gi-Oh strategy that claps you up for existing? I think one of the only problems with this deck is going against like Molcharmy Frowless, but it actually fills the role of what we were looking for. A deck that can naturally go second. It's really good at that. A deck that can establish some pretty unfair boards. And this one uses Fiendsmith, which means Way High King Caesar can be a game-winning card. Unchained, more like chained to bricks. Brother, we got a hater. We got a hater. Where the Raven Wing sleeves at? Brother, you know I got you. Look, man, you guys already know that is top tier. Not when I mention it, when they are talk about the ad. Raven Wing, #1. This is an ad you just don't skip, do you, big dog? I'm just letting you know right now. Raven Wing is not only #1 sleeve in the entire universe, it's also #1 in our hearts. So go ahead and go to TheCaliEffect.com and pick up your Raven Wing sleeves today, or the world will probably explode. Quick question, how much is shipping to Europe? We don't ship to Europe. I'm so sorry, guys. Logistically, we just don't know how. So I got a couple of more decks to share with you guys. What do you guys think about Blue Eyes? Honestly, let me know. Fall off of the decade is crazy. What do you think about Blue Eyes as a deck? You think it's top tier? You think it could be top rogue deck?
I don't know. It depends. It kind of depends.
What it depends on?
It depends, like...
Do they need the Raven Wing sleeves? Tell them it depends on if they have the Raven Wing sleeves.
It depends, because if you have these Raven Leaves things, you winning always. You are winning every time.
My goat! Now get out my face! I know that there's players up in arms about Blue Eyes. Some people don't like it. Some people do like it. but it did top, and it is a pretty decent regional contender. This is a top 4 version of Blue Eyes, and I think one of the best things that this deck has is graveyard manipulation. You have cards like Ghost Bell, which obviously can stop those graveyard reliant effects, but a lot of people forget that Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon does just that. Also, because of the new Ancient Fairy Life Dragon, this deck can go for game. I think it's really powerful. It's super slept on. Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon allows you to reset Dominus Purge. You gotta love it. Rogue Yu-Gi-Oh strategies have always been pilot dependent. I mean, we know for a fact that in order to bring the best out of these decks, you have to understand the Yu-Gi-Oh metagame and how to counter it, but more importantly, you also have to understand what your deck can do to the various nth degree. The last strategy that I think is really good, I think Mitsurugi Orchest is one of the top Rogue Yu-Gi-Oh decks. It's one of the very few strategies that we listed that can use Dominus Impulse, which we know is a really strong card. And while it does have Mitsurugi as an engine, it's not the Yu-Gi-Oh strategy that you mix a top tier engine with and becomes better because of the engine. In fact, they complement each other really well. When you get Droll and Lockbird, you can still go full Orchest combo, and that's one of the biggest weaknesses to Mitsurugi. Mitsurugi is absolutely rogue, right? TJ, do you hear me talking? It's not Mitsurugi, we're saying Orcus that plays Mitsurugi. This is Lucas Aguiar's Mitsurugi Orchest Yu-Gi-Oh strategy, and I think that it is a masterpiece. It even shows that, hey, sometimes I can be wrong about things, but I'll be the first to correct it. What I really like about this deck is that you can search Mitsurugi Great Purification and Orcus Crescendo. That is 2 Solemn Judgments. Then if you play Solemn Judgment, you could have 3 Solemn Judgments. And that's all that I have for the video for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun. Of course, big dogs, I want you guys to let us know down below in the comment section, what are your favorite rogue decks that you are playing right now, and what are you having success with? As always, be sure to check out these videos, buy the Raven Wing sleeves, and of course, catch me, because I'll catch you on the next one. Also, show up for stream.